Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. It's an all open mic night because it is August. We are all exhausted. We just want this to go. And why drag a poor feature along to dehydrate themselves on one of the hottest weeks of the summer? I swear to God, it's like, I think the humidity has been like 99% all week here in Boston. And it shows on some of your faces. Put on a shirt, John. Anyway, it's been brutal. I do thank everyone's resiliency and dedication in coming here. The round robin night means that we'll each have two turns. And we're going to get started by how I randomly place people on the open mic sheet, not necessarily in order of appearance on the call. So our surprise number one person tonight hails from New York, is a past Stone Soup Online feature, is the host of the ongoing Brownstone Poets series and the editor of the hopefully coming out from 2020 Brownstone Poets anthology. Let's welcome up Patricia Kerrigan.
Thanks, guys. Okay, this will go in my mood. This was written back in 2006 when I had a job. And I figured this goes with the mood. Dog days of summer. These are the dog days of summer. It's time to go to work. Leave by 8:30 and the tin can snake is late again, doing its snail's waltz on rails. Play solitaire in your head, waste time on the ground, anticipate another day in hell. Reach your destination, walk through a labyrinth sprayed by derelicts' piss. The eau de toilette wakes you up faster than the gentrified caffeine in your upscale paper cup. Fade into the urban circus with the rest of the clones. Grilled shit and trash give the sidewalks character, and the stench ain't much better. Cabs and bikes want to kill you. They need the money now, and you're in the way. Robots armed with cell phones and briefcases bump into you because you don't exist. The city has a fuck you attitude and the temperature is rising. In the cubicle maze, work for corporate rats and sit in your designated rut. Your Mickey Mouse title keeps your ass glued to your seat. Bosses send more emails and deadlines for yesterday. Brown bag lunches lack power to impress. Eat alone. Your phone and computer keep you company. Your salary's generous. The rent and bills thank you, yet there's no money for travel. Your dream of summer love, and the past still screws you, and sex stinks like stale fish. Your gender's a name only. Why do anything when you're anonymous? Like the flowers on your desk, watch their dry petals fall by the minute, and the clock says 6:30, and you're on overdrive, and the workload is tireless, and the report is overdue, and you almost forget to pee. These are the dog days of summer. It's time to go home. Leave by 9:30, and the tin can snake is late again, and the AC is out like the one at home, your home sweet microwave. Your thoughts predict the future, playing solitaire with your body, wasting time on an empty bed, anticipating another night in hell.
Every once in a while, I have to nudge people into saying, come on, tell us what you really feel. This isn't one of those times. Thank you, Patricia. Wow. Let's, who do we have to follow that? Yes. Let's welcome up someone who's been absent from the open mics for a couple of weeks due to technical difficulties. Now she has completely different technical difficulties, but is somehow able to hear us and to speak. So let's welcome up Jan Rowe.
Go ahead.
There you go, Jan.
Yep.
Whoa. Wait a second. Okay, Jan, don't unmute. Keep your phone away. Keep your phone away because it's like it really echoes and it causes some crazy feedback.
No, you have to do more than that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
There we go.
he's taking it away.
Sounds good.
I was going through my papers and I found this, which was written in Northampton County Asylum. Now, I don't know if this became like one of the last big institutions, Northampton, before the developers kind of gobbled it up, the land. But this John Clare lived from 1793 to 1864. Written in Northampton County Asylum. I am. Yet what I am, who cares or knows? My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish, an oblivious host, shadows of life, whose very soul is lost. And yet I live, though I am tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dream, where there is neither sense of life nor joys, but the huge shipwreck of my own esteem and all that's dear. Even those I love the best are strange. Nay, they are stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man has never trod, for scenes where woman neither smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator God and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, full of high thoughts, unborn. So let me lie the grass below, above the vaulted sky. John Clare, 1793 to 1864. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jan. Good to hear you again. And Jan, you might want to take the other phone and put it on mute, and that way you might not have the feedback. You'll be able to hear us, but then the voice sound won't carry, and then you can have it close by. Who do we have next on the open mic? Yes, let me ask her to unmute, as she is one of the phone callers. So press *6 and let us hear from Miss Nancy Dodson.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Childhood. The room is so large and I am so little. People are bigger than me. Talk is about my head. No one wants me to understand. We thoughts are in action. Eat everything on your plate. Be clean. Wear well. Clothes wear as well as manners. I want to grow up. Talk as well as listen. Communicate. Peace is without slaps. No yelling aloud. Silence. I must rest and sleep. I am so tired. I sleep.
Thank you very much, Nancy. And let's move on from there to our orator extraordinaire, Mr. John Sturm. Whoops, I muted you by accident. I meant to ask to unmute you. So you have to unmute yourself one more time, and then you're good to go. There you go.
All right. E. Cummings. When faces called flowers float out of the ground, and breathing is wishing, and wishing is having, but keeping is downward, and doubting and never. It's April, yes, April, my darling, it's spring. All the pretty birds frolic as spry as can fly. All the little fish gambol as glad as can be. All the mountains are dancing together. When every leaf opens without any sound, and wishing is having, and having is giving, but keeping is doting, and nothing and nonsense. Alive, we're alive, dear. It's kiss me now, spring. Now the pretty birds hover, so she and so he. Now the little fish quiver, so you and so I. Now the mountains are dancing, the mountains. When more than was lost has been found, and having is giving, and giving is living, but keeping is darkness and winter and cringing, It's spring, all our night becomes day. Oh, it's spring. All the pretty birds dive to the heart of the sky. All the little fish climb through the mind of the sea. All the mountains are dancing, are dancing.
Very good.
Unless
Thank
you
you.
want more, Chad.
We'll have you on. We'll have you on for the second half. That was good. I enjoyed that. I'm actually nostalgic for spring, and I'll be willing to skip. I'll be willing to skip fall only if we skip winter as well and go right into spring. But anyway, what do we have next on the open mic? Yes, and the one person who I can always say, who I can always add a preface of, and now it's for something completely different. This person's been around the country a little bit, and he has been. He came back from Idaho, and I almost said Iowa again. My bad. And he had quite a few stories to share, even when he was there, thanks to the power of Zoom. And he's with us tonight. Welcome back once again, Mr. Bill Lewis.
Thank you, Chad. It is a pleasure to be here, to be with all my fellow fine poets and just hanging out and having a good time and doing good stuff. I've been sort of obsessive for the last year or two, what with COVID and everything. And, people's eyes would just grow to weird shapes when I look at the monitor, and I start to have hallucinations about gigantic eyes just overcoming my nose. No, but I've been sort of obsessive about really looking at the positive things and the people who are out there doing it and creating and thriving during this COVID crisis and all of that. So, I've just been out there yelling and screaming and cheering and doing everything I could. But there are other sides to life and other sides to me and everything. And I'm probably one of the happier persons you will ever meet. I have my down times and all of that, but I pretty much get over it. So don't worry about me. But I have my moments. And so here we go. Let me bring my microphone. La 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 la. I am a bad person. How often do I say that to myself? How much do I obsess on failures past? Things I did or left undone, friends I lost so fast. My sins are legion, yet they're small. I've never hit, I've never even cursed, and yet my girlfriend's left me, everyone, convinced that I'm the worst. What horrid kind of ass am I to drive them all away? A selfish, greedy hypocrite pretending they should stay. Girlfriends come and then they're gone, an old familiar melancholy song. But it's the kids that tear my heart. They found in me a man who cared, and then they were torn apart. I let them down, I wasn't there, abandoned them when they needed most. Oh, fuck me, God, I don't deserve the pity, grace, or mercy. I had my shot, I messed it up, and now it's time to curse me. When I take my last breath in, I'll know I see the faces of all those children, all those moms, and all those happy places. Places where we laughed and played, where we thought ourselves a family, where they hugged and hold me tight, just like that you're our daddy. I'm mystified by my failures with women, while it's easy to point to my inconsistencies and behaviors, fear and pure spaciness, pale in comparison to most, I think. I am so tiny and so insignificant, and so are my fuck-ups. My brother and sister have gone through worse, and they're still together, worse than I have ever imagined. And I think of those moments. Was it just those moments? If those moments had changed, if only Susan had said yes, would that have changed anything? Or would she have just said no anyway? I wonder what caused all these failures. But I was daddy. I was daddy to 10 children, and I was so happy to be with them. My family. So yes, I do. I do obsess.
Thank you so much, Bill. And we'll carry that somber moment over to our next open mic participant. Just give me a minute as I unlock her capability to speak. She's been with us very much since the beginning. It's always great to have her. Let's welcome up Miss Carol Weston.
Hi.
Hello.
So this poem, it was published Kindness of Bill Corbett. And well, I did it, I guess I was driving by the Charles River and I stopped the car. God Almighty. Vers la flamme, toward consummation. We are given a few hours to manifest all that we dreamed in a lifetime. We must act like lightning, burning through to the essentials and stoking the fire back of the psyche to make the eternal immediate and dance on the threshold of extinction. We are stretched out, stressed out racehorses, groaning and close to collapse on the final curve of the race. And our eyes, multifaceted diamonds, capture the light from a million windows and outer space. The heartbeat of the closing chapter of existence pushes us over the line of possibility into the eyes of the miracle. Suddenly our arms assume the musculature of root systems that lead to power unknown in the dark earth, and we are able to lift the castles of impossibility into the light and redefine existence. Our gut is the knobbed rope that pulls us into consciousness, where we dwell in the all-consuming sun, obliterating us just as we deliver the message of the angels. Come together, ye who strike the harmonies of earth and God, and the stars will bend down to you. Call in your separate wails of truth, and there shall be music. Strike the flint, and the spark shall be immortal. If you know how to jump the sun and look into the eyes of God and take dictation there, singed into action. Collapse along the bridge between life and eternity. Let your innards hang out, reflecting like illuminated gemstones, and you shall be the body of consummation. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. And who do we have next? Oh, yes. Glad he's still able to join us. He was having some difficulties before. Let's welcome up. Unmute yourself, please, sir, and let's welcome up Mr. Chris Fitzgerald. Mr. Chris Fitzgerald, are you there?
Looks like he's still muted.
Unfortunately, yeah, and I can't control that. He has to unmute. You can only unmute yourself. Chris Fitzgerald, are you there? Okay, we'll have to come back to him. Let's instead go, Ethan Meckler is being a listener tonight. So we are going to go right to person who is our closer. Let's welcome up the man whose column, It's All One Thing. We have a really great one tomorrow. So be sure to read it at oddballmagazine.com at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's at oddballmagazine.com. The columnist is James Van Looy. The column is called It's All One Thing. And let's hear James now.
Hi.
Hello.
So I have a piece here called Threshold. I realize I am on the threshold, the drempel in Dutch, when I read that my great-great-grandfather's cousin, Jacobus, went on his honeymoon back in 1891 to the Belgian city Bruges, old walled city of grocks, canals, whereas I immediately ogenblikkelijk remember our trip in 1998 to England, Scotland, Netherlands, and then we were supposed to go to Paris, but instead in Haarlem, where my family came from in the aught years of a century they now call the 1900s, and my wife hears someone talking about going to Bruges, which just as in Jacobus Van Looy's time, had recently taken on a certain cachet. And she, surreal, wanted to go, so we did, and spent a day there, cruising the grocks, the canals, and walked the somber streets and cathedrals that were floating gossamer lace, and actually walking a portion of the wall. There we were, really on our belated honeymoon, just as my great-grandfather's cousin had seen it too, over a century before, ghosts still there, for many, many more centuries past. Het mysterieuze Bruges als legendary Chateau Dead Stad City. And I got a little song for you. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only ones my arms will ever hold. I heard someone whisper, please adore me. When I looked, the moon had turned to cold blue moon. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much. Before we go back to the top of the round robin, I'm going to see if looks like Chris Fitzgerald is trying to join us again. So hopefully he will, and we can bring him back for a double shot in the second half of the open mic. For now, let's go back to, let's see if Patricia is there and she wants to participate a second time. Patricia, where are you? What is this? Everyone goes reads a poem, then goes and make a sandwich? I went in on that action. It brings us back some cold ones from the fridge while you're at it, Pat. Okay, let's, Patricia is indisposed. Let us go back to Jan Rowe.
Hi,
Hello.
this is more recent from the writing group. I want you to hear in your head the Rolling Stones song, Missing You. Okay, the Rolling Stones song, Missing You. The title of this from the writing group this August, it's called Tax the Rich Like We Used to, which gave rise to the song. Tom Hartman reports fossil fuel in the USA was given $181 billion of citizens' money, our money, and that's down 40%. So is the USA in bad shape? If we can only give them $181 billion, down 40%? Hey, why does gasoline cost 4 times more in England and Europe? For infrastructure, the IRS could have yielded 100 billion. Yeah, but it's to be funded by overpaid unemployment claims. Yeah, right. So that was last week. I hope there's better developments. The rich are now taxed less than workers. In 1952, the rich were taxed 90% after their first couple million. We got to tax the rich like we used to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jan. And Chris, we'll get to you again. You can do a double shot of the round robin when the time comes. I'm glad you're back on. It looks like you're unmuted. I'm going to have to mute you again just in case there's background noise, but hopefully that won't be a problem. We did skip Patricia to get to Jan, so I'm going to ask if Patricia's there now. Okay, still making the sandwich. All right. Let us unmute. Let's have her unmute herself, rather, Miss Nancy Dodson.
A walk in solitude. New moons create a small crescent. A star lights up the sky. A light proceeds along the pathway. A dog statue appears before me. A dog barks, but I stay on the path. Solitude breeds delight. Joy envelops my soul. Alone.
Thank you, Nancy. Play claps and applause and emojis everywhere. Thank you again, Nancy. Who do we have next? Yes, we can go back to Orator Extraordinaire, Mr. John Stern.
Cummings again. What if a much of a witch of a wind gives the truth to summer's lie, bloodies with dizzyings, leaves the sun, and yanks immortal stars awry? Blow king to beggar and queen to scene, blow friend to fiend, blow space to time. When skies are hanged and oceans drowned, the single secret will still be man. What if the keen of a lean wind flays screaming hills with sleet and snow, strangles valleys by ropes of thing, and stifles forests in white ago? Blow hope to terror, blow seeing to blind, blow pity to envy, and soul to mind. Whose hearts are mountains, roots are trees, it's they shall cry hello to the spring. What if a dawn of a doom of a dream bites this universe in two, peels forever out of his grave, and sprinkles nowhere with me and you? Blow soon to never and never to twice, blow life to isn't, blow death to was. When Einstein's universe is gone, all that remains will be our love.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Chad.
Up next. Oh, Patricia, if you're done making your sandwich, we passed you on the round robin, but we can get you back.
Bad news. I had a phone call. had some like bad stuff going on now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'll read something and that'll be it. Just a little off. I put on my mother's shoes and walked on city streets, crossed asphalt and cobblestone gutters, climbed various staircases to subways, schools, jobs, apartments. Sometimes took elevators when available. I felt the leather tighten, heard souls sigh. Pain rose up vascular roadways. A headache signaled to action. Her past, a telepathic rerun. I already knew how it would end. Emotions created her whirls and lines, and no two fingerprints were alike. Unanswered questions stepped on anger and grief. Wondered why I still shrink in my own shoes. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia. I hope things are better. Hope you feel better. I know we'll help you feel better. Listening to 3 to 5 minutes more of Mr. Bill Lewis. Bill, you're back on.
As I well should be. When you are as great and glorious, as wonderful as I am, you deserve to have an adoring audience paying attention to you, listening to every word. Oh, it is so wonderful to be as great and beloved as I am, to have my own minions. So I'm feeling great, all things considered, despite the fact I'm occasionally just feel like shit and the world is a terrible place and I'm a horrible person and I don't deserve anything and all that stuff. But that's, 0.1% of the time, and the other 99.9%, I'm like, woo, let's go party. And you kind of know that in me. So anyway, I have nothing useful. I have prepared nothing, of course. So I'm just going to cheat. I am going to follow the role of James Van Loy and just sing you a song instead, because this is a glorious time. Oh my God, things are happening. Idaho, masks are long gone. Yes, the whole COVID thing, people are still getting, but it is over. It is so over. Now is the time to be out and doing things and being excited and seeing new life. And if you're blue and you don't know what to do, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Different types who wear a coat, pants with stripes and cutaway coats, perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz. Dressed up like $1 million trooper. Trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. Super duper. Come, let's make the Rockefellers walk with sticks and umbrellas in their midst. Putting on the Ritz. Have you seen the well-to-do walking up Park Avenue on that thoroughfare with their nose up in the air? High hats, collar collars, white spats with lots of dollars, spending every dime for a wonderful time. If you're blue and you don't know what to do, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Different types who wear a day coat, pat with stripes and cutaway coats, perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz. Dressed up like $1 million trooper. Trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. Super duper. Come, let's make the Rockefellers walk with sticks and umbrellas in their midst. Putting on the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz.
Thank you, Bill. And you're welcome in advance for me not interrupting with Young Frankenstein references to Koopa Doopa. But
I was going to be the one to interrupt with a Young Frankenstein.
Koopa Doopa. Okay, I'll stop. I do that too well. Let's get serious one more time with the unflappable Carol Weston. You're up, Carol.
Okay, this is a poem that Jack Powers liked very much. The dark bowl, in the dark bowl of my soul, danced a very slight light. When I blew off my lid, I blew out the light. When they came to my aid, they bent over the brim, extending their candles to light me again. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Good.
Always great to have you, Carol. And now let's go back to let's solve the big mystery. Is he going to be able to unmute himself and join the poetry open mic? Chris Fitzgerald. Inquiring minds want to know. Chris Fitzgerald, just press *6 and unmute yourself if you're on the phone. Or just unmute yourself if you're on the computer. Chris? Chris? Okay, Chris, we'll get back to you. Let us move on to Mr. Van Looy, as he perhaps closes us out again or gives us the prelude to potentially the greatest open mic spot we'll ever hear for the rest of summer. Chris, hope you can unmute yourself. Mr. James Van Looy, you're up. You might have to unmute yourself, James. Uh-oh, what's going on? James, are you there? We can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself. I'm not sure what's going on, people.
Hi,
There you
you
are.
got me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a piece here. It's called Revelation in a Box. And actually, I can try to show you. This is the actual design of the, let me see. No, maybe you can't see it, but anyway, here's the poem. Back in the tween years, circa 2010, the US surged into Afghanistan, repeating in that land the same triple down of force that they used to attempt to cover up the Iraq defeat. And General McChrystal went from his command of Iraq death squads to CEO in Afghanistan, saying he had a government in a box, ready to take over areas his force cleared of Taliban. So in spite of the fact that there really is no such thing, which quickly became apparent as the Taliban simply went from daytime to nighttime control of contested areas, with the affected people caught between the day and night regimes, the surge costing tens of billions of dollars in a land that had an economy only a few billions, just went on and on. And the promise Obama got for US ending its presence became another decade of forever war. The US failure to establish governance in Iraq and Afghanistan, but instead, after 20 years of occupation, to leave on its leaving a failed narco state, as happened in Burma, Myanmar, or La Valencia, Colombia, or Central America's Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, was a prophecy of our failed republic/empire. Donald Trump has decisively ended the pretense that the US democracy has ever been anything but an elaborate mask for ruling class mass manipulation of the American people in service to empire. And in the process, all government legitimacy has been lost, just as order and good policy have become a matter of life and death, not just of individual humans, but all humanity threatened with mass extinction. The ultimate of this sort of non-thinking is the idea that the global pandemic was somehow politically contrived for the sake of ousting Trump. In fact, if Trump had just behaved like a caring human being, the pandemic, which truly was global, would have made him a beloved leader. What actually happened is that psychopath libertarians who have been pushing dealing free markets uber alles, and government is not the solution, it's the problem. Ronnie Reagan's, but especially Nixon's, always tricky dicky, and Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, sending the fleet off to the Falklands, where members, who remembers that now, did the same thing with the AIDS virus that Trump tried to do with coronavirus, backed by the clack of faux news, hate radio, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Manufacturers Organization. And the US never developed effective testing and tracing. And most doctors really seemed to think it was better if no one knew for sure if I had the virus. And in the Frontline documentary on the pandemic actually showed a couple Chinese who lived in Wuhan, highly educated, who described how proud they were when their government shut down the virus there. Mass testing, isolation of the infected, entire population, 30 million people were tested in 10 days. So I have another song here for you. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill, on Blueberry Hill. When I found you, the moon stood still on Blueberry Hill, and it lingered until my dream came true. The wind in the willows played love's sweet melody, but all those vows you made were never to be. Though we're apart, you follow me still, for you were my thrill on Blueberry Hill. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill, on Blueberry Hill, when I found you.
Thank you very much, James. It looks like Chris Fitzgerald might be trying to join us again. So let's see how that works out. Looks like he's hooking up as we speak. The suspense is killing me, please. We'll find out in a second now if he's able to join us. We did have someone try to join us by phone, but I don't know who that could have been because we need very specific codes to get in for the phone. So I'm not sure who did. I'm not sure how that happened. If anyone knows, let me know. Okay. So Chris Fitzgerald, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you able to go?
I am.
All right, then let's get Chris Fitzgerald up here to conclude the open mic night. I'm sorry you had issues, Chris, but I'm glad you were able to join us.
It's ridiculous how this foolish new phone. The big lie. That's all I've been working with the last month. And it's not the newspaper's Trump big lie. That I consider a sniveling lie. It's the big lies attached to my own life at different periods. For instance, 14 days ago, T-Mobile, my phone carrier, for the last 17 years, sent me a text. They had a new phone, 5G, upgraded, free phone for me. All I had to do was show up at one of their stores and pick it out. I show up. $68 to pay my phone bill, which wasn't due for another 15 days. $32 for a new phone cover. It was 2 inches bigger than my last phone, so my old phone wouldn't work. $45 for my new phone service. That they said I'll get a rebate on. $145 cash out of pocket for my new free phone. I told them, any more free things, you should be able to find someone else more deserving. Lose my number if possible. All these big lies my whole life came rushing back. The first one, I was 7 years old. She said she was 8. She told me she was 8. She didn't look a day under 9. Turns out she was 5. Boy, was my mother pissed. Until that day, my mother was kind, generous, loving, funny. Not that day. I'm not going to get into specifics. I didn't kiss and tell it, Steven. Why would I start now? The next big lie I shall deal with, 2008 presidential election, Barack Obama and versus John McCain. Both candidates stated that their favorite novel was Hemingway's For Whom the Bells Toll. Both the novel and John Donne's poem, where the novel got its title, were frauds. Imperial thought posed in his art. Imperial thought posed in his art has done more to corrupt in the 24 hours in a day than anything else. Started out with monotheism. My religion's better than yours. Switched to the royal people. My king's better than your king. To now political groups. My group's fairer and more decent than all the other groups. In fact, your group is assholes up the wazoo. I'm sorry, I meant up the yin yang. We will start with the John Donne poem, For Whom the Bells Toll. I'm sure we all remember the first line. No man is an isthmus. No, that couldn't be it. I have a good friend who's an isthmus. No, it's no man is an island, entire of itself. I love that. It's later on when he says, each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. I myself am involved in mankind, but every person's death doesn't diminish me. Let's remember, ass pincher. He pinches your grandmother's ass. Next grandmother, he steals her purse. Then he's running down the street on the inside. Instead of the outside, as any conscientious purse thief will tell you, a guy trimming his hedges, but he can't wait for the battery to charge on the hedge trimmer, so he has one of those nasty electrical tools. It's not the chainsaw, but a brush cutter. Ass pincher gets too close. The tool cuts him in the neck. He bleeds out. Turns out he wasn't only the biggest ass pincher in New England, he was also the biggest middle finger in Massachusetts. In fact, before he ever said Mara dead, he was giving them both the finger. It started on Route 93 North, not 95, not 90. That's a course for those at home taking notes. Guy driving next to his father thought his old man got too close. Out popped the finger. Baby properly restrained in the back, thought it was the coolest thing he had ever seen. Got home, practiced it for 7 days, then he gave his mother a peek. She, of course, accused the husband of setting a bad example. At this point, you may say, won't you miss all those laughs you got from that guy's existence? My late mother would tell you, don't you worry about my son. You will find plenty of other people to laugh at once that guy's gone. Next week, I'm going to finish with Hemingway and Gary Cooper and John Wayne. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And it's with that, we will take our leave. Thank you guys very much for overcoming adversity to be part of this call. We had a few technical difficulties here and there. We've been having technical difficulties throughout the summer, but I think we've overcome most of them. And I appreciate you guys, all your dedication to making sure that happens. Thanks to everyone who just came to listen. Thanks for everyone who just came to participate. Hopefully we'll have an announcement for the 1st of September, whether it is a week off or it's going to be a feature or another one more all open mic. I'll let you know when I know. Until then, I think we've gotten I think everyone else is exhausted for then. Thank you guys in advance for doing the wave. Let's do it one more time. Come on, John, where are those hands? There we go. You got to make up for all the other Johns. But there you go. That's the spirit. I will say that on September 8th, we do have Meg Smith, a multiple time Stone Soup feature and Out of the Blue visitor. She last came to us when Stone Soup was at the church in Park and off of Park Street, and she's visiting us in our online home because she has new books to sell and new work to share. And then on the 15th, the one feature that I wanted to have for a long time, Sam Cha. He was one of the first people that I thought of, given the anti-Asian sentiments that started happening in April. Sam Cha is a very accomplished poet. He just got from Pink Books, he just got a book released from them called The Yellow Book, and it's going to be a lot of work from that, and hopefully some new work that he's come up with over the last couple of months. God knows none of us have been short on material, no matter how much we try to avoid it. And his is an important voice for a multitude of reasons. And I hope you all get to come and share that. I think it's going to be a packed open mic too. A lot of people are saying that they can't wait to see this. He just had a very successful Voices of Poetry reading, which is another weekly venue hosted by Neil Silverat. And he's been at the Boston Poetry Marathon and a host of other places. This is his latest stop. I will send links to the actual Yellow Book website so you can purchase it if you are so interested. This guy's been a instructor. He's been living in Cambridge this whole time. Father of three, and he deserves our support. And we've confirmed Denise Washington, a poet of some note for the last couple of years, who we've seen a couple of times at Stone Soup. She wants to feature as well. We're going to solidify the date, and we'll let you know more. And hopefully, if I do make an announcement for a live Stone Soup reading, we'll let you know when and where, and if that's going to happen. It'll probably be very much a test run, but I'd like to at least give it a try. But we're going to gauge what everyone feels. And no matter what, the online sessions aren't going to stop. So with that, thank you guys very much. Have yourself an excellent evening. It could be this exciting every week, guys. All we need is you. And enjoy yourselves, and see you next week.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Hope you feel better, Patricia.
Thank you. Appreciate it.